All right. So for this tutorial, I want you to remember 5 words that begin with the letter S, and they can be put into 4 different stages. The first is simplify. Simplify. Yeah, I spelled that right. Um, and that is going to be pretty much these first 3 panels. It's the first stage. You're simplifying the scene. First, you're simplifying it with your drawing, which is 3 values. And then you're going in, you're putting just flat color shapes. So by the time you get to here, the whole canvas is covered with paint, but it's all just flat shapes. There's no detail, there's no blending, there's no, fading from light to dark. It's just one flat shape after another flat shape. And what I want you to focus on here is the relationship, mainly of the value of these shapes. For example, like I started here, I first got in this dark shape. And then I got the grass in, which is slightly lighter than that. And then I got this in, which is pretty much the same value as the grass and the shadow there. Then I went in and got the light side of things, and I got, this light side, this light side, this light side, this too, and just always comparing values. For example, it's lighter than the trees, but it's still darker than, say, the sky up here. So simplify. You were just simplifying the scene into big flat shapes. And by the way, these steps, this can be applied to any subject of painting. So keep that in mind. All right, the next S, it's actually 2 S's. It's going to be structure and signal. Now, what does structure mean? Structure means we are going to start adding more value shapes to create form, because here everything's flat shapes. But here, take this like little bush, for example. I went in and I put a little dark right here. That's going to give it more form. It's going to give it more structure. I put a little light on the top, the reflected light coming down from the sky. That's going to add more structure as well. This grass, a little dark here, it's going to give structure to that grass. Not going to make it look flat. It's going to have actual structure to it. And then signal. When I say signal, I mean signal the texture, the surface of whatever it is you're painting with edges. So, example, changing the edge here. Got these little stray leaves to signal that this is, a bush. Another example is in this next panel. I soften this edge to signal the edge of the tree, and also that it's fading into the fog. I let the paint of the sky and the paint of the tree mix together to create a edge. Another is right here. I pulled this grass up. I signaled the grass by changing the direction of my brush stroke, changing the edge. Also, shadow here, I softened this line, because I wanted to signal that it's a shadow and it's going to have a soft transition. So, stage 1, simplify. Stage 2, structure and signal. We're adding on more value shapes, like up here, more value shapes, slightly lighter, but also signaling the surface with our edges, broken edges, softer edges. Third is sharpen. Now this means that we're just going to go back through and we're going to just sharpen everything up. Everything isn't perfect, right off the bat. You're going to come back and you're going to make little changes here and there. You can see from here to here, kind of soften this edge between light and shadow. Added in a light side of this little tree that I missed. Coming into this panel, kind of pushed a few more little darks to give a little more interest to these grasses. I'm just going back through the painting, working on the same things, kind of going over areas, making sure everything's where I like. And the last is sign. And this is any little touch-ups, any little things you want to change. Like I pushed this little shadow a little bit cooler, kind of pushed the blue a little bit more here. I pushed a little more shapes in the rocks up front. These are just little things, little tiny touch-up things before you actually sign your painting. That's why this is called sign. So to go over it again, simplify, structure and signal, sharpen and sign. This is pretty much what I do every single painting, no matter if it's a portrait, still life, landscape. I do these steps. Now, I've been doing this for a while, so I kind of shorthand some of these or group some together. But this is such a helpful way to think about the process of painting. And I think you will take a lot of steps forward when you have an actual process.